past few years, I've helped brands generate over $30 million just from email marketing alone. And I've learned that most people overcomplicate the entire process. They think they need some massive strategy or advanced automations in order to make a big amount of money. And because they're overwhelmed, they never actually get started. But the truth is, you can launch your first email campaign in your first hour, even if you've never touched Klaviyo before. And that's why in this video, I'm going to walk you through the complete beginner setup for getting started with Klaviyo. I'll show you everything from collecting your first email address to making money with your first campaign. And now, for all of this to work, we have to start from the very beginning, which of course is setting up your account. And the first thing we need to set up is your deliverability. Because if you miss this step, it doesn't matter what you're sending out, it'll go straight into that spam folder and nobody will even see your email. Now, there are plenty of other steps that you can set up inside of Klaviyo, but we'll leave that for later because this is all you need right now in order to send your first campaign. So let me walk you through that exact process inside of Klaviyo.
Hop over to Klaviyo, go down to your settings and just go to domains. Now, what you want to do is just click on add domain. Here, you're going to have your domain, so your website URL. You're then going to go ahead and make sure that you've got your sending domain set up. So you can have send, you can have email, you could even put info. Whatever you do out of those three, completely up to you. Doesn't really matter too much. Now, what you want to choose for your routing type is dynamic. I'd always recommend dynamic. You can choose static, completely up to you. You can see what this does at the bottom here as well. I'd recommend dynamic. Then what we're going to do is go and find your DNS zone. So this is your domain provider, right? GoDaddy, Shopify is probably the most common one for you. If you are in luck and you do have Shopify or GoDaddy, you can literally just click this, click next. It'll basically set it all up for you. You don't have to do too much. If you don't have those options and you do have to do this manually, I'm going to show you how to do this right now. So click next. Then what you're going to do is basically add these DNS records to your provider. So for this instance, I am using Squarespace. So for the DNS, what you're going to do is go over to your domains, find your website domain that you're adding to Klaviyo, click on DNS, then go to DNS settings. We're then going to scroll down to the custom records and add records. For the host, you want to just come back and we're going to put info because that's your host, right? That's what we just set up. For the type, as you can see, it says NS here. We're doing NS because it says NS here for the type. Then for the value section, we're just going to copy this and we're just going to go ahead and paste that into the name server. For TTL, do not worry about this. Just leave it as 4 hours. Then what you want to do is basically go ahead and save this. You're going to rinse and repeat for all of these different types here. Then for the bottom one here, we basically want to just go ahead and change it. So the text type is obviously going to be a bit different. We're going to change it to TXT for the type. Then for the name for the host, we're going to leave this as @ and then TTL again. Ignore this, leave it as what it is. The text here, we're just going to go ahead and copy and paste, obviously this one here. You're then going to add that and you're going to click save. Obviously, I'm not going to save it for this example. Now, one thing that is missing that Klaviyo hasn't gave to us here is your DMARC settings. So if you come back here, you'll see we don't have any DMARC. So what you want to do is just go ahead and set up DMARC. So I've just added this for you. You can manually go ahead and add this text record for DMARC. So you're just going to copy DMARC here as done. Come back over to Squarespace. DMARC is going to be your host. Type is going to be TXT for the record, as I put that here. Text record. And then you're just going to copy and paste this bit at the bottom. And then you're going to go ahead and add that into the text at the end. Then click save. That's literally it. Once you've added all of these custom metrics and the one that I've gave you manually here, you're then going to go ahead and click save. Then we go back to Klaviyo. You're going to click verify. Obviously, I'm not going to do it for this example, but once you've verified it, you should be able to see when you go down to your domains and click on settings, domains, you'll see here it should say active for your status. That is it. That's literally your setting up for your technical foundation. The only other thing you need to be mindful of is obviously make sure that you've got your email.yourbrand, for example, or info.yourbrand for your branded subdomain. Okay, so just make sure you don't have like your personal Gmail when you set this up. You want to use your business email address. Okay, so it'll be like send at company name, send at lumitherapy.com, something like that, right? That's pretty much it.
Now that Klaviyo's set up, we need to start collecting people to send emails to. And the fastest way to do this is by adding a pop-up form to your website. Because chances are you already have traffic. All you need to do is put a form with a strong offer on your website and start collecting that emails. Now, of course, it's not as simple as it sounds because the average pop-up form converts at 3 to 5%. But we've had instances where some clients have done 15 to 20%, but an average for us is around 5 to 12%. So that being said, here's how you do it in the most efficient way.
Cool, so let's go ahead, create your pop-up form. You do have a bunch of templates that you can use here, but to be honest, to make this really simple for you, let's just go ahead, create something from scratch, label it as newsletter pop-up, if I can type, and then also just have pop-up as the form type, and then we're just gonna add people to the newsletter. Leave this off, don't tick this, it's gonna make your pop-up look really weird. Click save and design, and then we're good to go. Now, what we wanna do, because you're just getting started, we wanna keep this as simple as possible and just get you off the floor, ready to capture emails. Delete survey, because this is just gonna going to add another friction point in order for us to actually capture emails. What you've got here is a teaser, email opt-in, and then a success page at the top. Let's just quickly go back to teaser, just show you what this looks like. Essentially, this is going to show on somebody's desktop or mobile once they've closed the form. You can see display settings, it says show after form is closed. You do have other settings here, but to be honest, I would just leave it as once they've closed the form so that this always shows either in the corner or, at the bottom of that mobile screen whenever they've closed the form, right? You've got different styles here. You can mess around with these. I'm just going to leave it as rectangle for now. And in terms of changing the color of this, you can literally go down here, background color, maybe you want it blue, whatever it is to match your branding. They're going to change. There we go. Change your background color here, and then you can even actually mess around with all the different fonts. Maybe you want a different font style for the text. You can see that's being changed down there, right? Nice and simple. Mess around with these colors, these settings here. Again, it's not really going to make a huge difference, but that's essentially the teaser. Then when it comes to the actual opt-in, the actual form, what you want to do is just go ahead, update this with your logo. So if we click replace and then just add in your logo, I'm just going to use the Amazon PNG here. That is huge. Let's just make that 20. Okay, that's my new logo. That's the Amazon logo here. Again, obviously just mess around with this. Make sure you've got your logo. You can change the size here just like I've done. You can centralize it, left align it, just fiddle around with the settings. But again, it's pretty much all set up for you. You've just got to customize the image here. Text as well, same as before. You can change all the colors here. Text color, maybe you want it red. Maybe you want to update this to your fonts as well for your brand. Okay, and literally you can just customize all this text. Nice and simple, right? In terms of the email contents here, when it displays this email input, leave this all as it is. You don't need to mess around with this. Okay, maybe you want to change the block color. You can go ahead and change this, make it look nice and ugly. If you wanted a black email input, you can do it there. For the actual desktop button here, if we click on this, just make sure the action here is once they've submitted form, they get submitted to the newsletter. Again, it's already set up for you, so you shouldn't need to change that. You can, of course, go ahead, change the button style. Maybe you want a red button, whatever it might be. Literally all your style settings are over here. So just have a fiddle around with these. You can change the actual block padding as well if you want a longer button. Just have a look through all of these. I'm not going to go through all of them, otherwise, we'll be here all day. See, that is how we've made our nice ugly pop-up. Of course, I'm not going to sit here all day and show you how to make something fancy. It's really straightforward. Just play around with it and you'll be good to go. Once you've done that, obviously just make sure your success page is aligned with your logo, your fonts that you've used, your branded colors. Then once you're done, just click publish and you're pretty much good to go. Okay, obviously integration needs to be set up as well.
Now, this will get you up and running, but like I said, in order to hit a 5 to 12% sign up rate, you need to constantly test what works for your brand. And this can take you weeks, months, even years if you're trying to do this yourself. So if you want to shortcut that process, just click the link below and book in a call to speak to my team. We've literally took brands just like Revolve Medicare here from zero all the way up to $322,000 in just 30 days by handling all of this for them. So again, if you want to see if we can do the same for you, just click the link below and book in a call. But either way, now we actually need emails to go ahead and send to the subscribers, because once you have a list, the hardest part is figuring out what to actually send them. Now, there are tons of different campaigns that you can actually go ahead and send to your list, but I'm just going to give you a few examples that I know are proven to work and are very simple and efficient to go and get started with. So let's go ahead, not be too salesy, and send a non-discount value-based email campaign.
So next thing we want to do is actually go ahead and send out your campaign. How we would do this is importing your campaign as a template first. So you click create, name your campaign. I'm going to go ahead and use one of my clients' campaigns, as you can see here, Bulldog 19th of September campaign. Paste that into here, click create. Now, how we build out this campaign is pretty simple. You're just going to have your image at the top, so you can add your image in. I would then go ahead and use the image you see at the top here. So I'm going to slice my first image down to around here, and the reason I'm doing it to here is because this is going to be imported as a text block. So we're going to slice this up into a mixture of images and text blocks to help it load easier and make sure you land in that primary inbox. Click export and then just go ahead and add that into here. Select image and then just drag that image into here. There we go. So that image has now been added. My next step would be, of course, adding a text block like so. And what you're going to want to do is just make sure all the text, including your fonts, your colors, is all aligned with what's shown on Figma. So how you do this is you double click on your font, on your text block. You can see the typography here is Futura PT, and we've got book as well as the font style, and then 22 for the font size. Okay, so I'd come over to here, and first thing I would do is I'm just going to copy that text from there. Yep, that's all good. I don't actually have that font on my computer, that's why it's not working. So have we got Futura PT in here? Also, I don't even have Futura PT, so I'm just going to going to use a different font. Let's just use Helvetica for now. Leave that as 22. Have it centralized in the middle, just like it was on this email here. Obviously, you want it in black as well. So text color, black, like so, right? So you've got your image at the top, text block, go back down here. This can actually be another text block. So what I would do, just click on that, double check the font style. So I'll alternate Gothic. Number 3, let's copy that as well from here and just duplicate this, another text block like so. And then we just use the font size, so 58, let's just do it 58. So let's just do that in bold as well for now. Here's what's real, I was about to say. So now I can just click on this and see it's this color down here with the hex code, and that in black like so. That same font size, 58. Let me just change it to a different Lucida. See what that's saying. That's done. And I'm gonna change that as well to like 36, 16. Okay. Probably just cut all of this bit out with what I'm doing now, and just say like once you've designed your email and imported all your images and text blocks, then we'll be good to go. You know what? I'm just gonna go into the Bulldog account and just show how to do this from scratch. So next thing we want to do is go over to campaigns. Once you've completed your email and designed it, click create campaign, and we're just gonna do single channel. And what we would do is leave it as email, have the date that you want to send this out, click continue, select newsletter, and if you see smart sending is on, basically you can read this. Smart sending is basically not going to send campaigns to profiles who've received a message from you in the last 16 hours. So for example, if they've been in the welcome series and they're currently going through that, they're not going to receive this campaign. Okay, so leave smart sending on, click next, and then of course you're just going to add your subject line, so whatever the campaign might be. So backed by real reviews. I can't actually remember what the subject line was for this. I'm just going to leave it as backed by real reviews. Don't ever do this. Get 20% off. Don't ever do that as a subject line. That's not a good subject line. Here's what people had to say. Send a name, send a consultant. Usually you'd have send or info, whatever your sender email is. Users reply to, usually just leave that if you want it to be to this email that they reply to, or you can have like info at and then your brand name. Anyway, next thing you want to do is click next once you've selected that template. And then what you want to do is just go ahead and, again, ignore this because obviously I've not set up my DMARC settings, but you would just go ahead, schedule or send. You can do send now if you want to send it right now, or you can schedule it and have a fixed time. As you can see here, your date, that'll be like the 21st, time here, and then obviously make sure your time zone is being sent out to wherever your list is predominantly held. So then you would just click schedule campaign and you're good to go. Now, when it comes to campaigns, I just want to give you a few examples because it's quite hard to do this on a consistent basis. I'd say pretty strong campaigns that aren't sales based, they're like non-discount. First one is what makes us different, so us versus them, using the law of comparison. As you can see here, you don't necessarily need to call out your competitors, but you can just state like, here's why we're different, here's why we're the best solution. You know, safety first, quality you can count on, easy assembly, 12-month guarantee, basically just all your core features that make you so powerful and the obvious choice on the market. That's obviously a very good angle to go down. You've got success stories, so just showing raw, real customer testimonials. You've got reviews. Again, this is one we've done for Citron, so you can see all the different stuff we've done here. Again, one core angle for each campaign. You don't have multiple call to actions and multiple objectives. The next one is a how-to. So this could be like a workout guide, it could be a recipe guide, it could be how to get clearer skin. Basically just giving out educational, value-based content that's going to obviously benefit your customer, and not even trying to sell here. It's like full body workout, one resistance band. This is what we did for that product that's selling resistance bands. We gave them an at-home workout that they could use. Then obviously call to action was shop resistance bands. FAQs, so frequently asked questions emails. These are really good for businesses that have got a lot of misconceptions. So for this one, they're doing like weight loss injections. Tirzepatide, this has got a lot of bad sort of misconceptions. It's actually very beneficial. So we just want to lay out frequently asked questions and maybe even take them to read the full article so they can get a bit more understanding and more clarity on how this actually works and benefits them. Last one we've got is just data-driven stuff. So for this brand, natural or synthetic, let's break it down. Just give them the cold hard truth, the facts about the data. Here you can see we're comparing natural versus synthetic and why natural beats synthetic. We believe our bodies deserve the best. That's why we use X, Y, and Z. And then of course you need to try these solutions. Okay, those are 5 clear campaigns that you can use as examples.
Now you know exactly what to send as your first campaign. Congratulations, because this is huge. But I hate to break break it to you, if you're just sending out weekly campaigns, you're leaving a ton of money on the table, because sending the same email to everyone only gets you so far. Instead, you need to actually personalize each message inside of that customer journey for every single customer to make it feel personalized and tailored to them. And how you do this is with automated flows. Automated flows are basically activated when a subscriber or website visitor takes a certain action that triggers that customer journey, which means it's just made for them. For example, if somebody has abandoned that cart, they will receive an abandoned cart email flow. Now, there are a bunch of important flows that you can set up, but the most important and crucial one is going to be your welcome series. Because when somebody signs up to your email list, this is when they're going to be most likely to buy from your brand. And this is the first impression they're going to receive from you. So if you're not sending out a series of emails during that welcome series period, you're basically throwing money away. So let me actually show you how you would create this.
Now, for your welcome flow, let me just come out of here quickly. What you want to do is come over to flows, and I've actually set up a bunch of pre-made flows just to show you sort of a skeleton that we use for our clients. And first things first, when it comes to setting up your flow, is your trigger. So for the welcome series, you just want to use the profile trigger as newsletter. So when somebody gets added to the newsletter, they get put through this flow. Now for the filters, of course, the main thing you want here is placed order 0 times since starting this flow. And that's obviously going to put people who just sign up to your newsletter straight into this drip sequence by which they would get this first email here. So email number 1, you've got obviously your subject line, your preview text, and then of course your template here. So you can actually go ahead and add your template in. Then what we want to do for this series is just have a 1-day wait delay. And how you add time delays is literally just over here on the left, add time delay. And then what you want to do is add another email. So you can add an email in. If you want to add SMS, you can do that. Obviously, I've not shown you how to do SMS for the pop-up, so don't worry about that too much. It's just something to think about long term, email and SMS. Do you want to start doing SMS? You know, after you've had that first email, wait 1 day, have your second email here. Of course, just make sure it's different inside of every single email in this welcome series. I've got a full flow structure. If you want to see that, just click one of the links in the description. I'll have the full flow structure video in there. But what you want to do is just wait another day and literally just keep adding in emails here, waiting 1 day at a time, waiting 1 day at a time. The reason we're waiting 1 day is because it's not too spammy, and because people have just signed up to your list, we want to stay top of mind. You don't want to be waiting 3 days, because 3 days have passed and I'll be like, who are these people emailing me? I've completely forgot, right? So 1 day at a time, keep emailing them. It's not too intrusive. What you can actually do is check on, if we go back off of here, you'll actually be able to check over here if you're being too pushy with emails. On your analytics dashboard, you'll come down here and see deliverability, and you'll have a score here, and it will tell you your reports, your unsubscribe rate, your spam rate, stuff like that. You'll have it all here. If you've got a high deliverability score over say 80, you're doing really well. Don't worry too much about being too intrusive and spamming people. But yeah, that's pretty much how you guesstimate it from that sort of gauge with the deliverability. Other than that, that's pretty much it. Once this is done, you can click review and turn on and just literally put it live. Okay, that's it. Nice and simple.
So now you know how to actually collect emails, send out email campaigns, and even do automated email flows. But this tutorial was literally just the start. So if you want to see the full system that we use to help one of our clients generate over $300,000 a month, click this video and I'll see you there. And if you are an agency or freelancer who wants to learn how to create a 7-figure email marketing agency, just like myself, just DM me on Instagram saying the word mailer, and of course, I'll be happy to help.